Welcome to episode 52. This is Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions, and today we are going to look at jazz guitar and the major scale. Now, the major scale, I've said this in the rock version of this, the major scale is like the base of lots of music theory. We might even want to, some people consider it the base of all music theory. Like when you say something is minor, when you say something is like the Mixolydian scale is this with a flat 7 and well, what is a 7? It's a major scale with a flat 7. Okay, we have a major scale that we're comparing it to. So major scale with flats anyway, it is the base thing. It's like the ice cream guy making ice cream. The analogy, how it's made, analogy of he starts with vanilla, then he breaks out the caramel, then he breaks out the nuts, then he breaks out the crumbles of cookie. Okay, but at the base, it is the major scale. All right, so we want to know this, we want to understand some things, and we want to see the patterns that lie within the major scale. And if we understand this stuff, the hope is that you get these eureka moments. And I think about this, what is a eureka moment when you suddenly clicks? It is that time when you see the pattern. You see the patterns of things that you listen to happen. And you see it happen over and over again. And you become aware of it. And you're, oh, that's what that is. I see it all the time. It's in these songs, okay? That's what we want. We want more of those. So anyway, the major scale. What we said before, core formula for the major scale is 2 whole steps followed by a half step, 3 whole steps followed by a half step. You can root that off of any note and you'll get something that sounds like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which is the sound of the major scale. Any note at all. Okay, so for it to be useful for us, if we're wanting to learn to play jazz, we have to learn what notes we just played. Otherwise, yeah, jazz players know that. It's something, it's a part of our thing. That we know key of G is 1 sharp, key of D is 2 sharps, A is 3 sharps, etc. Okay, you want to learn that, but that's for another lesson. The major scale. What we've learned in earlier episodes of Boomer Guitar Sessions is we can arrange scales in a horizontal manner. And that is very, very cool, and that is very nice. We're not going to do that today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about position playing, and I'm going to show you a symmetrical scale that when I say it's symmetrical, okay, you can play it with some adjustments in the 3 string sets. Like when I say a string set, okay? So getting started, what we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you the core fingering of the major scale. Then we're going to get into the pentachord. So the core fingering of the major scale that we're going to learn today is what I call the 2-4-1 fingering. Okay, and it's in the key of G major. And we're going to talk about, we're going to be using shell voicings, which are thirds, sevenths, and roots. We're going to get rid of the 5th. So it's 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Now, the way I want you to practice this and everything is you want to have fun with it. So how I would have fun with it first is maybe just play it like a walking bass. practice that fingering, and in the comments below there'll be a link for the fingering. So with that said, another thing we can do is what I call the pentachord. The pentachord is the first 5 notes of that scale, and I practice that. Okay, notice that when the other thing is how am I'm playing these eighth notes in a swung like fashion. It's like ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a boo ya do ba do dow dow boo dow da ba do ya do bow. That's what the traditional kind of swing jazz kind of sound is like, and that's what kind of this lesson is kind of vibing the style of. Okay, another thing, very important to learn how to swing the eighth note. Very important. Okay, so now when you're playing in jazz, also things that we can touch, I guess, on it briefly, is you don't just want to play scale tones. And when you're playing over, you get your major scale down, but then you want to do some chord tones and some arpeggios with it. So that is something you want to check out. And also, a line that has some momentum to it. If you want to put momentum in your line, which who doesn't, start on the end of the beat. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, ba-do ya do ba-do dow dow ba-dow dow ba-do ba-do ba-do. Not on the downbeat, but on the end of the beat. So now the other thing that we want to discuss is the fact that these scales are symmetrical, and what that means, that fingering with some adjustments in some cases can be played in other. Well, first off, I can also move it in every key. It's a movable pattern that can be played in every key. Also, I can root that same exact fingering, but rooting it off your A string. Etc. All keys. You can practice it around the cycle of fourths, cycle of fifths. You can practice, and you want to practice in every key. You don't just want to play in one key. Next thing I want you to do, back to your G major, is what I want you to do. We're going to play one more fingering. Okay, so it's your G string fingering, which is a little bit of adjustment. We're not playing the 2-4 there. It's a 1-3 when it gets to that point. That's the adjustment. Next, what we want to do is we want to number the notes that we're playing. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? That's very important because it's what we do when we jazz progressions and jazz kinds of things. The numbering system, to know the numbering system is very, very useful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So this is going to be your 1. This is going to be your 4. This is going to be your 5. In jazz, one of the main progressions is the 2-5-1 chord. So this is going to be your 2. If this is 1, 2 is right there. Your 5 is right there. And then your 1 is there. And what's neat about the 2-5-1 is going to be it's the three kinds of chords. That's your minor chord, that's your dominant chord, and that's your tonic major chord. Okay, so it has everything. All right, that is a classic. That is a classic a progression that is in everything. This is one of the patterns that I'm talking about, and also 2/5 movement that doesn't go to 1. Another hallmark of jazz kind of chord progressions is they don't stick to one key for long periods of time in a lot of these songs. Okay, she may have 1 or 2 measures of one key, and then it moves to another. It may be 1 measure of one key, and then 2/5 in one key, then it goes to another. That's some of the stuff. What you want to do is you want to get a real book, a song that has lots and lots of chord progressions in it, jazz kind of chord progressions, and then notice all the. If you see a minor 7 and then a 4th away is a dominant 7th, that's called a 2/5 in jazz. It's also like when I'm playing funk, I think of that as the Dorian 1/4. Okay, that movement there. Now we know it's a 2/5-1 because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. All right, minor 7, dominant 7th, 1. We did that in the key of C major, which we take that C major scale, same exact fingering of the scale. The 2 of C is D minor. The 5 is G. And the 1 is going to be, so the second note of C major is D, and we root a minor chord off of it. These are all shell voicings. And then that is your 2/5-1. Okay, another thing. Jazz players also, they love color tones on those chords. That's beyond shell voicings, but anyway. Also, lots of arpeggio work, and then lots of chromaticism. There's lots of things we can do with it, but for this lesson, just work on that C major scale. Practice with a ride, spang-a-lang. Drum machine beat is fine, unless you have a drummer brother or something. So anyway, yeah, 2/5 movements all over jazz, is all over Latin music. It's also in funk music. It's also in rhythm and blues, Motowns. It's all over the place. When it's in funk and rhythm and blues, it tends to stay in one key. Not always, but a lot of the time. So with that said, we have your 2/5-1. You want to learn the 2/5-1 in 2 different places. You want to learn it from form 1 to form 2. And then you want to learn your 2/5-1. So that was first a 2/5-1 in G. the key of C. So listen to guys that play it, but learn your at least 1 octave major scale. That little note there that I keep going on, that's the Mixolydian scale, the flat 7. But I didn't know what a 7 was. I didn't know what a flat 7 was until I learned what a major scale. That's your flat 7. That's for another time. So anyway, this is Rod, Boomer Guitar Sessions, episode 52. Thank you. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. You can do this. I appreciate you and enjoy the process, and I'll see you later. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember,